we had just freed the prisoners in the underground hideout of Mantellin and his associates, Tupo, Threepo, Fourpo, and Bob. And you had managed to fight them all off, defeat them soundly, and free the prisoners down there. The dwarf Dagon immediately went, after thanking you, went and grabbed a barrel of ale and headed back out up the stairs and presumably back home to where you needed to get some stuff done. Alyssa and Santo still are down in the dungeons with you, and that is where you are right now. What would you like to do?
I thought we determined that.
Yeah, we all went.
I thought we determined we were coming back the next day to help this dude.
That's right. You went upstairs out of the dungeon and
rested for the night.
Yeah.
Did something with Mantellin and Bob.
I told the one dude, we'll be back tomorrow, we'll help you out, because we ruined your plan in the first place. Well,
that's right. That's right. Santo gave Mantellin a little bit of a talking to and sat down with him and put the fear of God into him a little. So he and Bob both kind of at the moment. You good there, Monkey?
Sharpening a pencil. Sit down.
For Christmas, I'm sending you a manual pencil sharpener. Or mechanical pencils. Anyway.
All right. So the 5 of you are coming out, and you bed down for the night. Anyone want to take a watch or do anything?
I guess I'll take first watch.
Okay.
Ford goes ahead and volunteers to take all shifts of the watch.
You're gonna need some sleep tonight. I'll take the first watch, and you can rest a little bit, and then you can take the rest of the watch tonight.
Appreciate the concern, but I'm not sleeping tonight, whether or not I'm on watch or not. So.
Okay. If you do not sleep tonight, you will get a point of exhaustion the next day.
Okay.
Okay.
And your health will not be better?
Your health will also not replenish.
It will. Just by
it will.
sitting and doing nothing, it'll
True.
slowly, like every 4 hours or something, you gain a point or something.
Right, so depending on how long it takes.
Okay, what's the roll to make my health bigger, Sarn? I forgot for that one for the level up.
You have a D8 hit die, I believe. So, just so you know, Monkey, as an exhausted character, you move at half speed, and then you cannot run or charge, and you take a -6 penalty to strength and dexterity.
I have to sleep. That kind of fucks things up, though.
It kind of does.
Well, like I said, you could rest for a little bit, or for the first little bit.
I mean, I can take a watch.
You would be fatigued tomorrow, which is no running and charging and a -2 to strength and dexterity. Not exhausted, so not quite as bad, but still, there are impacts.
No, I guess I'll take that. I guess.
Fatigue.
Yeah, he said temporarily -2.
-2 to strength and dexterity for until you go to sleep the next day. If you skip another night, it's going to get worse. All right. Well,
just like if you actually don't sleep for 24 hours, it's harder to focus on things.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So Ford stays up all night, apparently, keeping an eye on things. Watching.
Sorry, you realize why, correct?
No, actually, I don't. I'm
to the
confused.
PMs.
Okay. Let me just look back and see if there was something I missed previously.
Probably has something to do with one of his personalities, I assume.
Something like that, probably. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
You understand my reasoning for this and don't think I'm just crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
If you don't sleep, you're still taking penalties, though, I assume.
No, I know.
You are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So Ford stays up, kind of pacing around the camp occasionally, keeping an eye on things, taking a peek at Helen and Bob, who are still trussed up where they are up against the wall inside that little enclosure. The rest of you, Alyssa and Santo included, bed down for the night after having a small meal over the campfire that you Santo manages to kind of stoke up without too much of a problem, kind of get the fire going again. Ford, go ahead and make a perception roll.
All right. Thankfully, let's put more points into that even further now.
Yeah.
Get my fancy dice. Perception is... Where is my perception? That would be a 10.
I'm still staying up for the first watch as well.
Okay, you can make a perception roll as well. Cool.
If I missed it, she didn't.
So you're paying attention to kind of what's going on around you, listening for anything weird, watching for any strange movements in the shadows, and you really don't see anything. Nothing much is happening. No odd sounds from what you can tell. Just crickets, occasional little scuffles that you can tell are small animals in the underbrush.
Okay. After the first watch, I kind of figure, all right, he's going to be staying up and watching. I'm going to get some rest.
Yeah. Ford, you heard crickets. That's about it. All right.
All right.
So Asila goes to sleep. Ford still kind of wandering around, keeping an eye on things. Go ahead and roll one more perception for me.
This one being much better at 22.
Okay. As you're making your rounds, you kind of pass in to check on Bob and then Helen, and you notice that Bob wasn't sitting exactly where he was before. He's kind of moved over a little. You go over and take a closer look, and you notice that he's been kind of squirming and kind of trying to writhe out of the ropes. Had you not noticed, he might have gotten out by the time you guys all got up in the morning, but you managed to catch him in time. You tightened the ropes and kind of trussed him up a little bit.
So before I leave, I'm going to use Haunted Fey Aspect to once again appear to be that gigantic snake monster.
Okay.
Itching to die, punk?
Bob's seen some things. Not giant snake monster things, but he holds it together pretty well and kind of just backs away from you up against the wall.
The more I can do to him then, so I just go back and take over rounds.
All right. In the morning, you guys all wake up to the sound of birds chirping, the sun coming over the horizon. What would you like to do?
I guess we're going to go back into the dungeon and collect what was left of the potion wines. What else was there? I feel like there was a couple other things we wanted to grab. That was the majority of it, though, I think.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Let me take a look here. I think that was the only other thing of interest.
Yeah, everybody's going down and grabbing one or two of the potion wines.
As you're grabbing all that stuff, Santo speaks up. So, what's our plan to deal with the trouble?
Well, what was your original plan? Let's kind of work off of that.
Well, see, what happened is I knew that people were disappearing, so I figured I'd go and get disappeared myself and work my way through from there. I didn't really have a plan beyond that.
Alright, so what we can do is I'll use the hat to look like Van Talon.
Okay.
I will give you up, but also raises the issues of I promised them really good subjects, and I don't know if they'll accept just one.
There is that. I've been thinking about that too.
Well, rather not.
What are Asila and I? Chopped liver?
What about Mantelin and Bob?
Yeah.
Well, Mantalon still. They
That's a thought.
probably will at least recognize Mantalon.
What if we disguised him?
He's already not wearing his beard.
That's true.
The lady has a point.
Maybe there's... I have this disguise kit I got off, and maybe we can, use that to help disguise him a little bit more.
Less Mantelin-y.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're going to care who they get as long as they get some people.
That is a better solution. Because I don't want to be tossing you guys up to them. Lord knows what they're going to be doing.
Santo, what are you planning on doing once you become disappeared?
Well, I figured I was just going to keep following things to the root cause. Right now, it seems like going with the duergar to wherever they're going. They obviously need slaves for something.
Well, what if we offer up ourselves up as well, and we all go along with you, and because you're now by yourself?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Say that if you say. Go on, sorry.
I mean, there is the complication of we needing someone to offer ourselves up, as it were.
I mean,
and
my thought process was if they complain about the slaves not being good enough, I would just offer myself up as a slave.
You could do that. I don't know.
That sounds a little fishy. I mean, I don't think Mantalon's the kind of guy who would offer himself up,
The threatening death upon him. If it's death or slavery, I'm pretty sure he'd rather choose death. Or rather choose slavery.
Well, yeah, but I don't think you're going to get the choice between death or slavery. I mean, they might just knock you unconscious and take you anyway. But I don't think they'll give you a choice about it.
What if after they take the slaves, we follow you down in there? That way we could release you somehow afterwards?
Well, see, here's the thing. You could. I'm definitely grateful for your assistance in all this, but honestly, I'm what you might call a lone wolf. I don't really work well with others, especially, no offense, but people I've just met. I definitely appreciate your help in kind of cleaning up this mess, but at the same point, I don't really know you. And
see, my dear friend, I am quite the opposite. It is not in me just to set someone up to essentially potential death.
Oh, trust me, death is not something I'm worried about. I have my means of avoiding that.
I suppose we do have other promises that we committed to.
At this point, Alyssa speaks up and was like, yes, didn't you say you would help me get to Mistwatch?
Exactly. So we may be best leaving the professional to do his job and staying to our word.
The Santo kind of speaks up at this point and says, "Besides, if I can do this," and he spins a few daggers around on his fingers, and then all of a sudden they just kind of poof, vanish out of his hands. I think I'll be fine.
Asila gives a little golf clap.
Ford, you notice. Actually, Ford, if you could make a perception check for me. What'd you roll?
16.
You notice that those are your daggers. How did he get those? They're not nice or anything. They're just a couple of the daggers you picked up in town, but
One of
didn't
many.
you have them before? Sorry, if you're saying something, I can't hear it.
I can't either.
Hello.
There you
There you go.
Yay!
Do I notice the daggers missing on my pocket, or do they disappear back into my pocket?
Oh, they're gone.
Daggers.
Say that again.
Say, yo, dude, what the hell? Those are my daggers.
He sticks his arms out, and the daggers pop back into his hand. If anyone would like to make a perception check. Anyone would
I'm
like.
intrigued.
What was that?
25.
So, Asila and Ford, you notice they very quickly sliding out of his sleeve into his hand. But Nephi, they just seem to appear there so quickly.
Wow,
Well, you know, could
that's
have
a
been
cool
magic.
trick.
I hope you realize that it's quite hard to perform in front of a performer who knows all the tricks.
Yeah. He flips them around so he's holding the blades and holds them out to you. Like I
Grab
said,
them back, stick them all back in my pack so I have my 30 daggers again.
sneaky is kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm. So you're
Anyways.
just gonna go in and find. I mean, you're just gonna go and go with them.
For now, this is my assignment. This is what I'm here for. I was told that the disappearances of people up here are bigger than they seem. And so I came up here to investigate and figure out exactly what's going on.
So I guess let's deliver you and there.
Well, I definitely like your idea of giving me some company. And he looks over at Mantellin and Bob.
Just know, if I see something going down, don't expect me not to help.
Fair enough. Just try not to mess it up again.
Hey Ford, where you met those guys before, what was it like in there? Was it like a rough cave, or was it like a paved brickwork like the rest of the lower area?
From what I recall, it was a rough cave.
So what you remember is that it was an extension of kind of the underground rooms, but there was a secret entrance at the back that the wall kind of sunk into the ground, revealing
more like a dugout tunnel than a.
behind the secret
Right.
the secret wall. There was a dugout tunnel. Yes.
And was that tunnel made out of? Is it stone or is there like earth?
Ford, I think she's asking you.
Yeah, Ford. You couldn't really tell. It was kind of dark. You were keeping your lights to the back so they didn't hurt the eyes of the duergar.
What? I don't know. What do I recall, Siren? I don't know.
I was just telling you. You couldn't really tell like beyond the wall like what was there. It just was dark because you had your lights kind of to the back to keep them out of their eyes.
I just repeat that back to the folks.
Okay. All right. I was just thinking, in case anything happens, I just kind of wanted to have a visual, mental picture of the area and see if, I can think of any advantages we might be able to have in the situation.
This time, though, I want to introduce you guys as my helpers. Maybe each one of you guys hold. I'll hold big guy here, and I'll point to.
I think we would probably be best in secret. If something's to go down, it would be better to have a surprise attack than having us there out front.
From what I saw of them, I don't think a surprise attack would help us regardless.
Yeah, but I think that if they had seen Mantelon's helpers before, they would have known that they weren't us. They're much taller than we are, and they're more of the masculine type.
I'm also fairly recognizable.
And yeah, you could probably remember me too.
Yeah, I guess then.
We're unforgettable.
And I turn around and start walking down the well.
All right. One of you ladies mind tying me up? Not like that. Sorry, I'm taken. And he puts his hands in front of himself.
Don't flatter yourself. She pulls some rope out and ties his hands up.
Ooh, that's some fancy knotwork.
All right.
You've got to learn if you're on your own.
I work mostly with vines.
Also impressive.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we're going back down now.
We are.
Okay.
Alyssa asks, "What should I do? I don't know if I'd be much help down there."
I don't think you would either. No offense. If
no,
you'd like
taken.
to stay with the horses for now, maybe finish tidying them up so we can use them to head back to town. We'll be up as soon as we can.
All right. Well, I'm not great with horses, but I'll do my best.
It's all we can
All
ask.
right. Okay. That us.
I think there's some carrots or some sugar in one of the bags over there. And they, give them a little treat. Might keep them happy. They're fairly nice animals.
I'll try that. Did somebody disappear or appear?
I think Barry's picking up his old habit of listening to us.
Hello. All right. Let me get this right. So you head back down. Ford leading the way. How are you arranging yourselves behind him?
I'm holding the ropes. The main guy in front of me, the ropes. And
Santo, you're holding his ropes. Okay.
I am going to be staying behind Mantelon and Bob, pushing them.
Okay.
Essentially, because I assume they're not going to be going quietly.
Not really. They're kind of struggling.
I'm bringing up the rear just because I don't want to be down here.
Okay. So we will head down into the ground.
I don't like it down here.
So as you're forcing them down the tunnel, Mantelon starts squirming, and he's squirming, and he starts talking, and he starts yelling out. He's like, "Why are you doing this to me? Let me go! You can't do this to me!" And
do you want me to break your neck? Because you're kind of useless with a broken neck.
Useless to you too, with your stupid plan.
I'm gonna pull up this scarf. I'm gonna just take this scarf off and wad it in a ball and wrap it. Well, I'm gonna wrap it around his like a gag. I'm just gonna gag him with the scarf.
Okay.
Fair enough.
He is gagged, and now he sounds like.
If only we could just make him walk, but be unconscious at the same time. No.
Oh, I can do that.
Ooh, you can?
Asila goes over and she just smacks him in the head, aiming to knock him out.
Go ahead and make a melee attack. An unarmed attack.
Nope, I just punch him right in the head.
You smack him in the head.
Whoops, sorry. I had seen it done before, and I thought I could do it. Maybe not so much. Thanks for testing this out, though. She pushes him forward.
You guys continue on. Eventually making your way down to... let's just move y'all. Let's do this real quick. We all end up down here-ish. Alright. Let us...
That would have been impressive if you could knock him out and he could still walk.
Oh, he wouldn't be able to walk, but he'd be quiet.
I know, I'm just... If there was some way to just, nullify... I wish I had some, silence spell, but I don't know. Okay, hopefully he'll cooperate and not be too... Well, I mean, I guess this slave really wouldn't cooperate. They probably would protest. A little
Probably.
bit. Yeah, and a gag, that's perfectly acceptable. I mean, as long as they don't...
Speaking of which, do you happen to have any more gags to gag Bob here?
I rummage through my pockets and find a soiled rag of some sort. Yeah. Does this
Works
do?
for me.
Bob looks at you and is like, don't bother with that. I'm not talking. And you notice he hasn't really been making much noise at all.
I think Bob's
I think
the
Bob
smarter one.
his fate.
So what?
I think Bob has accepted his fate.
Fine. Just, you know the drill. Talk too much, you'll get a gag.
Yeah, whatever. Let's get this over with. All right. So,
So Neffy and I are going to be hiding in the other room, I guess.
okay.
The one to the south here. And then
Go ahead and move yourself to where you'd like. Forward, that goes for you as well.
and before we split up, I tell Ford, so the secret word is help. Just scream help if you need help.
Although
You
that
want me to
didn't really
scream
help
like-
us when we were needing help with Mantellan, because he didn't come to our aid. But yes, we will run charging in if you yell help.
So, the two of
Or
you
anything
kind of...
like that. Just yell.
Maybe I'll yell like, I need healing or something.
Okay,
So-
that works.
Sure.
All right. Well, the two of you prod the captives from behind and kind of shove them into the room there. Mantellan is squirming and mouthing off and all of that. Still trying to get that gag out of his mouth and squirming. Bob and Santo both kind of have stopped struggling. Santo looks... is kind of acting shocked when he's brought into the room and sees the dwarves down there. Ford, do you have your lights, your dancing lights?
The dancing lights, and I have the.
Okay.
I have the hat on, obviously, as well, to be disguised.
Okay. Yep. So as you walk up, you see the kind of head-looking dwarf ahead of you that you saw before, and behind him are a couple more dwarves with crossbows. The main one steps forward. It's about time. Are these what you brought me?
Sorry, I took some extra time to get you the perfect specimens.
He looks him over, kind of looking at one, and then the other. And then he looks over at Mentellan. Why is that one gagged?
Because he wouldn't shut the hell up and was getting annoying as I was carrying him down here.
Mentellan at this point is shaking his head wildly and just kind of like gesturing with his head over towards you. And
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
To specify, as well as the fact that he's a known pretty good magic user, and I know that them magic types can use some verbal type spells.
You've gotten smarter. First time you've done that. Then he...
It only took this little feller to cast one on me as we were walking down here. Thankfully, it wasn't a good quality one.
Beller.
He looks at Bob and Mentellan, and you can see his eyes kind of shifting back and forth. He looks at Bob. I know you. And then he looks over at you. Why are you selling him off for? Wasn't he one of yours?
He was one of mine, but he didn't help me. He didn't help me good enough last time, so he can burn in hell for all I care. I almost got killed because of this jackass.
Roll deception for me. Or diplomacy? Bluff. Bluff is in this game.
Well, alright. You picked the one I have the highest modifier in.
That's the most accurate.
Bluff, alright. 1D.
Okay. He seems to accept that. He gestures back to the dwarves behind him, and two of them step forward and grab the ropes that these guys are tied on with and start leading them away. Mentellan is again struggling. He's trying to escape now. He's trying to run and trying to break away from the dwarf. Bob and Santo are just following the other dwarf. The main dwarf steps up to you, looks over at Mentellan trying to escape, and backhands him, knocking him against the wall, and Mentellan crumples unconscious on the ground. The other dwarf kind of picks him up, grabs his tied hands and starts dragging him down the tunnel. The main dwarf looks at you. That's how you keep him in line. Seems to be a bit of a hothead. I hope he's worth it. Otherwise, we'll be having a conversation next time.
And if he is, I'll make it up with an even better specimen.
Well, we'll see about that. He pulls out a small bag, hands it to you, or hands it out.
Can I use? Do I perceive anything different about this bag? Like,
go ahead and roll perception.
that would be an 18 plus a. Where's my perception on this list? 6, so that would make it 24.
Yep. It looks like a normal bag that you'd store coins in. You can hear some clinking as it's held up. It doesn't look any strange.
Is it the agreed upon amount?
Well, given that you didn't give me the agreed upon slaves, no. But it's what they're worth.
I grab it and count.
What's that?
Can I count how much gold is in it?
There's a
Or at
decent
the very
amount in
least,
there.
approximates.
Yeah, can I get an approximate?
It's a little hard to tell because it looks like mixed in with the coins are actually a number of gemstones as well. You maybe
Can I use a praise to try to decide?
you can definitely do that. Yeah.
That would be 15.
Okay. You can tell there may be about 10 to a dozen gems in there. you can't really tell how valuable they are at first glance. It looks like they're probably decently valuable. The amount of coins in there looks to be a few hundred at least. In the dim light, you can't tell for sure.
I take one out and I bite on it just to make sure it's real.
You don't trust me?
I mean, this is not the agreed upon amount, so I want to make sure it's at least real currency.
At this point, he pulls his hammer out and kind of hits the ground, the bottom, the handle on the ground, holding the head, kind of like a walking stick. Well, if you had brought the agreed upon slaves, we would be giving you the agreed upon amount.
Yes, but by not getting the agreed upon slaves, you're getting better slaves.
I was expecting more. I was expecting less troublesome.
How about this?
Take
I'm sorry?
what? No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
You know what? Fine. But I expect next time the deal is to go a little bit different. Patience on the next trade.
It may be you that's here. Agreement renegotiated next time. And with this, he just kind of lets go of the hammer, lets it drop to the ground, and kind of like puts his fists together, cracks both of them, and then picks up the hammer and turns around and walks away. The dwarves, the duergar, take their prisoners along with them, and they vanish into the darkness. As they're walking away, you see Santo kind of look over his shoulder and look at you. Make a perception check.
18.
You see him give a little bit of a smile and wink at you, and then turn back and keep walking. All right. They vanish into the darkness. What would you like to do?
I'm thinking. I'm not talking. Kind of lean against the wall.
Okay.
Wait.
Sorry. What did you say?
Give it about 5 or 6 minutes to call the rest of the group into the floor.
Okay.
So after he calls us in, everything went well?
For the most part, Santos gave me a smile and a wink as they walked away, so... However,
Well,
I have an itching feeling that we should give it a couple of hours and follow down this trail and follow after them.
Yeah, I just
Well, I don't have
I feel really uncomfortable just letting them just letting him go to who knows where for
this is his
Yeah.
job. He was called upon to do this, so
True, it is his job.
think-
Maybe we should just take Alyssa and head back and make sure Dagan got home safe and check in with everybody back in town and have a nice meal and some ale or something. And
if you'd like, after we complete our other promises, we can come back and check again. But I think for now, we should just let him do his job.
I mean, really, because if we follow him, what are we gonna do? I mean, yeah.
We're going a little bit out of our element by following them.
I completely agree. I'm completely out of my element, and I think I would be much happier back in worse. Yeah. Are we ready to go now?
And she starts walking away until she's ready to leave.
I'm patiently inching my way to the door. I'm not like, running out. I'm just like, "Oh, okay, are we ready? We're ready, yeah. Okay, can we go now? Ford.
You guys can go on ahead. I'm gonna wait here a moment.
For what? I mean, they're not coming back. We have other things to do.
My business. I'm not waiting too long. Just give me 5 minutes still alone.
All right, I guess I'm gonna go check on Alyssa. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go check on the horses. Because, they probably need checking on.
Okay.
so we let him have his privacy, and we're gonna go upstairs.
Zoom! I disappeared into blackness.
Alrighty. So the two of you head upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Ford. What are you?
I have my free time.
You.
You've got your 5 or 6 minutes of free time.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of press the wall and become. My eyes become wary. My eyes kind of start to shut. And a couple seconds later, they open. Oh, what a fine morning for some justice!
Great.
Where am I? I was kind of looking around the tunnel.
You see what you saw before?
Huh. I remember gonna grab my head. Because, with the pain of remembering killing someone, but it's kind of blocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get back above ground. And I go back above the ground to meet up with the rest.
Okay. So the three of you come back out, minus your prisoners. Let me remove them.
I can smell the justice in the air.
Asila looks over. Back, huh?
Yeah, it looks like you guys went on ahead without me. You left me down there all confuzzled.
You wanted us to.
Oh, are you back, Ford? Hi. Are you okay?
As okay as one can be with the amount of justice I've served today.
Sure.
Right.
Asila, he looks a little weird. I mean, like,
Yeah,
the
he
same,
always looks
but,
a little weird.
I mean, he looks the same, but like something in his eyes. He looks like I don't know. We should keep an eye on him.
Asila just shrugs.
While they're whispering, I'm just kind of doing like a little I'm doing a little like morning calisthenics, little jigs like justice, justice, justice.
All right, so shall we head back to Worse and take Alyssa home, make sure Dagon made it safely, purvey our wine
You know what they say?
potions?
It's always worse and worse, but I guess we have to go back there.
No, it's better and worse.
Alyssa speaks up and is like, actually, they don't say that at all.
What is the saying of the town of Worse? Does it have a saying? Like
We
life is
don't
better
really-
and worse?
No, it's people just usually say I'm from worse, and people start making some sort of horrible joke about. Well, at least it's not the worst. It's gotten old.
Okay. Well,
I could see how that gets old.
It's a very nice town, and I would love to be back there. Shall we go?
But I thought we were going to Mistwatch. I mean, that's where I need to go.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, I don't think there's anything we need in Worse.
Okay.
Mistwatch it is.
Should we take the horses or leave them here? I mean, There's nobody here for them. I mean, maybe we could take them to town and give them new owners?
I will gladly take a horse.
I think that black one looks like it wants to be your friend. Or the gray one. They look like they want to be your friend. But I'm not going to ask them. I'm just saying in general sense. They, you know.
What's the one I fed? I brushed and fed sugar cubes to.
I think that was the gray one.
I'll get the gray one.
Okay. Are you going to just hop on it bareback?
I thought they had a saddle and a saddlebag.
They currently do not. They're not saddled or anything. At least one of
I don't know if I
Mantelon's.
would know how to tack a horse.
At least one of Mantelon's crew knew enough to take care of horses to actually take that off and let them bed down. If anyone would like to, let's see, maybe a.
Guess the closest thing would be a handle animal.
I will let you
Or
use
ride?
ride or handle animal.
Well, I
Good
didn't
thing
say anything about riding personally. I just said take them with us.
I have a really high handle animal, though.
If you would
20 animal.
Okay. So Ford, you are able to. You don't have a ton of experience with saddling animals, so you're able to kind of figure it out, and you're able to kind of keep, more importantly, the horse calm as you're doing so. Saddling a horse on a horse that was upset, pretty difficult. On a calmer horse, you figured it out for the most part. So
You know not to walk behind it where it can kick you in the face.
right.
And don't touch the bits.
All right, give me a
Yes.
second. I have
Never touch a horse's bit. That's what you know.
Ford has successfully saddled the gray horse. Would you like to try to saddle any others or do anything else before heading out?
I guess I will try to saddle a horse. Both of them have the same. Let's try dexterity.
Okay, so you were able to get it together. I mean, you've seen enough. You've seen enough horses that have saddles that you're able to kind of, just from memory of what you saw, kind of piece together how the straps go. So you're able to get one of them saddled.
You guys are gonna make us ride horses back. I mean, ride horses to Mistwatch on a saddle. I mean, can I try riding the smallest horse bareback?
Sure. There's the small kind of mixed colored horse.
The little dapple one.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Mantelon probably was. So it does look like the nicest of them, the most well-bred, kind of well-kept of the horses. And you can definitely go ahead and do a handle animal check to hop on if you'd like.
Maybe we should ask Alyssa if she wants to ride or if she'd rather walk before we, commit to this. Alyssa, do you want to ride a horse to Mistwatch or would you rather walk?
I'd love to ride. I'd rather not walk. I'm not really dressed for the road.
Luckily, there are 4 of us and there are 4 horses. All right, I will handle the animal.
Okay.
In a gentle way.
Okay. It's a little hesitant at first. It's not really sure. It's used to having a saddle on it, but you're able to get up on there and it doesn't buck you off immediately.
Good horse. We'll be friends.
Alyssa goes over, grabs one of the saddles, and quite expertly throws it on, buckles it down, pulls the straps tight, and then hops up on it, sitting side saddle on the black horse.
I would like to mention I've never ridden a horse before.
Really? The one that talks to horses doesn't know how to ride.
I talk to all the animals. I don't ride them on a regular basis. Usually, if there's a horse involved in movement, it's pulling a carriage.
Hmm.
So, yeah. But I mean, this feels more natural without the saddle. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about riding bareback, but generally, let the horse go where it needs to go, and don't try to force it anywhere. Uh, and well, you don't really have reins so much. Just try not to pull on its mane too much.
Oh, I can do that. That's easy. We'll be friends. And I reach down and give the horse a hug around its neck. Well, as far as my arms will reach.
Okay. So the four of you head out. As a note, as you come out into the light, Ford, before you hop on the horses and head out, as you're coming out of the stairs from down below, you realize that you've been holding a heavy bag, the entire time.
Huh. I must have just been doing this subconsciously. Let's see what this is. I open up the bag and I
Okay.
see the gold, the gemstones. Oh, my Lady Justice! Finally realized the greatest I have been doing for her and gifted upon me all these golden gemstones!
Are you okay over there, Ford?
Look at this what I got! Golden gemstones! Yeah!
That's what it was. I was thinking we could take that money and give it to the worse. To the town of Worse to help with whatever they, part of it anyway,
Maybe this is Lady Justice. Maybe this is Lady Justice testing me, seeing how I'd handle a great fund of money. Thank you very much, Necky. You've helped me out quite a bit on my Lady Justice happy. I'll be sure to donate every penny of this to the town of Worse.
Good. I think. Maybe.
So-
Every penny?
in-
I mean, we could keep a little bit for ourselves because we.
Every penny!
Okay.
So- In the bag of coins and gems, you open it up and you find that in there you have roughly 2,000 gold. I guess the duergar pay decently well for their slaves. And you also, the gems, you're not sure exactly how much they are, but there's a couple rubies, a couple emeralds, a sapphire or two. One of them that looks clear might be a diamond. You're not really sure how much they're worth, though.
I'm sure the town of Worst will love the extra worth they will gain from me giving this to them.
Alyssa gives you kind of a side eye. Please don't say that again.
Ah, not one for word puns, my dear.
No, it's just I've heard them all.
Shall we be off then?
All right.
So we're heading to Worse then?
It's up to you. You leave the camp, which is where do we go here? So if you see on the map now, so you're on the map. You can see on the map where Worse is, and you're somewhat down the road. You're maybe hereabouts, and you can choose where you'd like to go.
I mean, we don't have to do it right away. We can, make our way around and make our way back there eventually if we need to get to Mistwatch. We had didn't Santos give us a book that we had to give to somebody?
Is that what that was? Because in my notes I have a letter from Rednern after Alyssa's name.
Yes, that was given to you by Cena in Worse, a letter that Alyssa received and then headed off.
Ah, that's right.
What you did get... Sorry, go ahead.
I think Santos said something about going to the captain of the guard and giving him a was it
A journal?
a journal?
Yes.
Yes, Mantellan's journal. I think it was, or was it Santos'
Yep.
journal?
It was Mantellan's journal with
Ha!
records of all of his stuff.
I just say give him a book.
Mhm. You aren't bringing Mantellan back like the original plan was, but you can at least bring the journal back.
And before we travel too far, do one of you have Mantellan's journal?
I do.
Okay, good. Whew. I have the rat statue, just in case we need it.